Go ahead.
Okay, on the behalf of SDSI, this is John Wilson. I want to welcome everybody again. Thanks for taking time out for this webinar. And one of the reasons we decided to do this is because we have a lot of questions about the conference and trying to get people in a position to really get some clarity about what we're going to do, what the conference is all about, the kind of things that they'll get exposed to. We thought a webinar would be a good approach. And it's really important that everybody understands that version 10, this is really our next generation of UnForm. It's been completely re-engineered. All components are completely browser-based for ease of deployment. The beauty is you can start on-premise if you wanted to, move to the cloud, all with the same solution. So you get tremendous flexibility on that end. A lot of our customers have been customers for many years, have been using the basic engine for UnForm, handling print management in many cases because they've purchased through a reseller channel and so forth, don't realize all of the other capabilities that are available in UnForm. So given that you have that starting point, moving to a full document management solution is easy as upgrading to version 10 and then adding the components that you're interested in. And those components and additional capabilities are what we're going to do on this webinar to give you insight into what's available, the content that's going to be covered, so that we're answering the same questions we're getting over and over all at one time on this webinar. And of course you will have question and answer time at the very end. And again, thanks. Hopefully this is going to be beneficial. We believe it will, so that you can see the value of actually attending this conference. And I'm going to then just turn it over to Paul.
Some of the things we're going to cover, we're going to teach you how to do, is and add value to the businesses. One of them is we're going to show you and teach you how to automate data entry intensive processes. So using the image manager to extract data from documents and creating electronic transactions out of those, so that instead of having to manually enter all that data, you can automate the data entry, speed up those processes. And then in combination with the new role-based document routing capabilities, when you combine that with the data extraction capabilities and then can route those documents to the correct people at the correct times for approvals and all those other things, it really starts to save you a tremendous amount of time and effort in the business. And then we're going to show you how to set up and use the archive so that instead of shuffling paper, you can use the archive to manage all your documents digitally, so that you can respond to customers, suppliers, and even internally much faster than having to dig through filing cabinets and faxing stuff back and forth. We're going to teach you how to use the print management tools to be able to create very professional documents, so that your customers and trading partners see that you're a professional company. It provides a professional image for you. We're going to show you how we can use different components to deliver your documents to your printers with no lag time. So if you're thinking about moving to the cloud and you're concerned about getting print output to your printers in a timely fashion, we can fix that for you, show you how to do that. And of course, the ability to get all your documents into an electronic repository and the ability to back that up is really is kind of a key piece of a disaster recovery plan that some people don't unfortunately think about until it's all their business critical documents have been damaged somehow. We're going to show you how to automate the archiving of UnForm generated documents using the archive command and other methods. We're going to teach you how to automatically deliver via email, fax, or to desktops and other devices documents when they need to get there. Our auto-indexing capabilities for external documents, the new image manager is extremely powerful. We can monitor emails and folders so that as documents hit these different mailboxes and folders, they're automatically processed. We can use a variety of technologies to get the indexing information we need automatically so that it doesn't take any effort to get these documents into the system, indexed and ready for use very quickly and easily. And again, we're going to cover the automated data extraction capabilities that you can use to create electronic transactions as well. And then, Alan, you want to jump in here and talk?
Sure. Okay, so the new image manager is the component of UnForm 10 that we really put the most effort into, and I know it took the most time. Going back, we wrote our first image manager component back in 2007, and over the last 10 years we've had lots of customers using it and kind of pushing it to the edge of its capabilities, and we discovered along the way, of course, our original design needed a little revamp. So we decided from this release that we were going to completely rewrite it as a browser-based tool, leverage the strengths that UnForm has. Some of our strongest features are our rule file scripting and our browser interface. And so we're leveraging those capabilities of UnForm in this new image manager. So at this point, we feel like it's a best-in-class tool and can be used for a lot more than we were able to do formerly in the original image manager product. So moving on.
So one of the new components we're going to review pretty thoroughly during the conference is our new doc flow capabilities. So it gives you the ability to create document flows based on different roles within the business. So some of the business uses are for approvals. So expense invoices typically have dollar limits based on whatever the role is in the business. So if it's up to X amount of dollars, a branch manager can approve it. If it's above a certain dollar amount, it's got to go to the controller, and even higher needs to go to the CFO. So you can build those different layers of approvals and route those documents and ensure that the approvals are taken care of, based on your business rules. It also helps with compliance. So if you have certain documents that you have to have in a particular process, you can use the role-based document routing to ensure that all the documents that you need prior to beginning a process are in place. We've also added the ability to add annotations and signature capture to documents. So, all these documents, you can add notes and all those things and actually capture signatures now and associate them with the appropriate documents. And, again, it's all browser-based, so very easy to deploy and easy to maintain. So the things you are going to learn how to do, it will help you to digitally transform your processes. Again, we want to use the archive to manage all the documents. So, you're not having to file and refile documents multiple times. You put it in once, and then everybody has access to it whenever they need to. Multiple ways to find the documents once they're in there. If the document's in there, you'll find it. We're going to teach you how to work with marked record sets. So when you're reviewing AP transactions and you're doing a three-way match, you have the ability to compare all those documents all on one screen all at the same time. We're going to show you how to create custom relationships so that documents can be linked together based on criteria that you guys specify. And then you can also create custom web forms to do various things as well, to capture data and add it to the system as well. Alan, you want to talk a little bit about
Yeah, the print management capabilities of UnForm are pretty much unparalleled, and a lot of that is because we have a built-in full programming language that provides for kind of unlimited capability in terms of how your output gets created. The ability to create custom output on the fly based on content is very important. If you think about your trade documents, your invoices, your purchase orders, your statements, and so on, they represent your brand, but they also represent how you trade with your trading partners, your customers and vendors. And being able to create documents that are easy to read and carry your brand is very important. And beyond that, everybody is trying to find out how to automate their processing, and it's important that your documents are offered to your trading partners in a way that they can automate their processing. They'll be much more happy with receiving your purchase orders if they can pull information off it with a barcode, or there's machine readable text embedded in it, and so on. So that's an important part of this whole product. And the fact, I mean, we've learned through the other side of inbound document management how best to create output from your side, and in order that your trading partners can work with you more easily, which obviously that makes them more happy and makes the whole industry that you work in better for you.
So I'm going to flip this over to Alan. He's going to step you through a couple of the new functionalities.
There we go.
You should have it. There you go.
Okay, can you see my screen?
We got it.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I'm sitting here on my desktop at home with a connection into a server at our office, viewing our main portal here. The image manager is what I'm going to run through right quick right now. We have the ability in here to receive documents coming into the system through email or through folder monitoring. So that means your network scanners can be sending documents directly into here, and your customers and vendors can be sending email. So let me simulate that right now. In fact, let me pull this document up. This is a sample document that we've been developing some jobs based on. It's a 5-page document, lots of line item detail. Last page is none of that detail. It's a terms and conditions page. I'm going to go ahead and send that document into the inbox that's being monitored. I'll send that off. And now back over here in the image manager, it takes about 15-20 seconds. We should see that document show up in here in a pending state after having been run through a job. So here it is. I'm going to assign this to myself here. And you can see the data that was captured off of here. We've got all these fields, the vendor numbers, item totals, and so on, and line item detail. So these are all the data lines that came in. And this check mark right here indicates that everything, all my validations passed. So things like the calculated total from the lines and the invoice total matched up and so forth. So that's actually all set to upload into our library. So that's now been uploaded. And if we come over here to our archive library, that document came into here, and it's this vendor invoice. And we have both the PDF of the scan, or of the inbound document. So here's the original PDF. And also we've got the data that was captured stored in here as well. So here's the data. This is an HTML view of what was actually this XML data right here. So the XML data is how we store what was captured off that document in our libraries. Now that same data is available for other processing, and that can all be driven right out of the Image Manager jobs, so that this data can be used to work with APIs in an ERP application, or pretty much any purpose you can think of. Now let me show you one more thing here. Let's say that someone got that document, in addition to it coming in automatically, they received that document themselves, and they decided they were going to go in and upload that manually. So that's being uploaded into the server at the office there. I'm going to import that. And now I'm going to run a job manually against it. I'm going to say I'm going to run all the vendor invoice jobs that have been defined. So that's done. And notice right here we've got a validation that prevents duplicate IDs from going into the archive or being further processed. So the operator's been told here, well, that's already been set up, that's already been received and processed. So validation can be used to prevent, inadvertent double postings and things of that nature. Anyhow, like I said, almost 10 years of knowledge has gone into the development of this version of our Image Manager, and the capabilities of it are pretty much unparalleled, and we would love to be able to show our customers how to use this and how to set up those jobs. Okay, Paul, I'm going to make you presenter.
Thank you, sir. So we're going to stop here and do a little Q&A. I do want to stress the fact that the goal of the conference is to teach you how to do all these things, how to create these job definitions, all the other things that we're talking about, so that you guys have control over, how you use it in the business. We're certainly here for help, but, again, we want you guys to understand how to create these jobs and do all these things, so that as you look at the different processes in your business on a daily basis, you can say, hey, if I apply this particular type of job to this, it's going to make everybody's life easier, and we'll be able to take that trip to Hawaii we're all anxious to do. So let's see if we've got some questions here. All right. So as we're waiting for questions to come in, I think, if you kind of look at this graphic we've got on the screen, it's an attempt to show you all the different things you can do with the different components. So, some of you don't have to have them all, but you can always add on as you go. So,
Hey, Paul, this is Gary. I have a question, and I apologize because I'm not an actual SXE user, but one of the things that conversations I have with people a lot is about the integration with SX Enterprise or A Plus or Fax or really any of the ERPs. But if you're in SX Enterprise, for example, and you're bringing up an invoice and accounts payable, do you guys provide links directly from SXE into your digital archives and things like that?
Sure. Alan, you want to talk a little bit about that, or you want me to take that one?
Well, we've got our, for the GUI version of SX, there's our desktop client, which can monitor the GUI application and provide a degree of context-sensitive integration into the UnForm archives. For the web UI, I know that there are some of our partners have created integrations right into the web UI with extension buttons and so forth. The integration is really just a URL or a client command line. It's one of two things, and both are between the two of them provide pretty much universal access with whatever is an ERP specific type of integration piece.
Okay.
Okay. So
we do have some questions now.
And there are launch capabilities in some of the other products as well. So let's see here.
Okay. Have we built an upgrade migration path from 9? And well, the answer is the rule files are fully compatible with 9. The archive libraries are fully compatible with 9. The image manager jobs from previous releases of the image manager are not compatible. That image manager was written in a Windows-only environment and utilized a completely different scripting language. So that is one thing that we really couldn't do a migration for. So I hope that answers that question.
And the OCR zones are now part of the image manager. Let's see what else. Does the new image manager support command line script execution like UF9 did?
I'm not seeing that question.
It's, yeah. So does it?
Well, wait a second. I was trying to find the question.
Gotcha.
Okay, I gotta scroll my screen. That's the problem.
There you go.
Okay, so does the new image manager support command line script execution like you have? Okay, so the new image manager is actually it's all server-based background processing. So whenever a document lands in a monitored folder or an email address, it runs through an automated script process. There's a job detection process, then there's a job application process, and there can even be, at that point, if it passes all validations for a job, it can be simply transferred right into a library with no one ever touching it. So, so in terms of command line script, it's not the same methodology that you would use, but it is fully capable of doing completely automated processing.
Okay, and then you answered the upgrade path. So the conference would not be for someone that is not familiar with UnForm or has not used it at all. Is that correct? I guess my answer would be no. I think it would be, the conference would be a great place to become familiar with UnForm and all the capabilities that it has. It is technical training, so it would help if you have some technical skills, but it would, even if you're not familiar with it, I do think you'd get a lot of value out of it. And once you see some of the capabilities and how you could apply them in the business, I think is probably the most valuable thing you could learn.
Okay, so looking at other questions here, I think that I've answered some that came in by answering other questions. They were
We've
worded
got
a little bit differently, but
another one here though, Alan. When is UF10 available to your partners?
well, we're planning a beta release before the conference, so by the end of October. And partners, of course, or other users will be able to start working with it at that point. We wouldn't recommend going into production with it at that point because it is beta. I mean, our betas are often considered very solid. I mean, as good a quality as other companies release product as. But even so, there's some brand new things in there, so we would hope that people would run it through its paces in a test environment. We do plan to release by the end of the year. So hope that answers that question.
Okay. How about, are there any changes to the design tool with the new version of UnForm?
There are some changes. They're relatively minor because it wasn't a brand new module. Have some new preview capabilities, which is kind of nice. We've got some code folding capability in the editing panel. So yeah, there are some enhancements, but they are not as expansive as we have in say Image Manager.
Gotcha. You will, and then one of the questions too is, again, back to the first one, if you're not familiar with it, is, are we going to cover basics? And I think if you're, new to UnForm, you would learn, basics as well as advanced capabilities as well. So, I think there's a pretty good description of the sessions on the website. Again, I think if you have not been exposed to it at all, come into this, you will learn it. So. Any others? I'm not seeing any more coming through here.
Paul, you should probably point out that we do have some time slots for roundtables. So beyond your agenda, these are open for discussions.
Yes.
We also made sure to leave long breaks. All our breaks are a half hour, which allows for, kind of digesting the information that we've presented and also for networking and one-on-one questions.
Yeah, and the roundtables will give you a chance to talk to other users and, learn from the things they've done. And you can share things you've done as well. So I think the roundtables are a very valuable part of the conference. Let's see. Are the UF90 Image Manager job scripts applicable to UF10?
So the answer to that is no. The old Image Manager scripts are based in VB script, and the new Image Manager uses the same scripting language that UnForm rule files use.
So if you know rule files, you won't have any trouble with it. Okay. Well, Gary, I'm not seeing any more questions coming in. So,
one thing that I would just like to add to the discussion, this is John. The takeaways from the conference is going to be all the material that was used for the training purposes, samples galore in terms of how things are done, and Alan could go into more detail on that if people have questions. But past conferences, people have really enjoyed the fact that not only can they learn in a pretty interactive environment, they take the information with them, and they can, when they get back home, back to work, that information can be used as a resource when they're working on something as a reminder. Also, a nice, I think, thing about the roundtables, not only can it be a really good Q&A We're going to also have some time to do what we call, you know, kind of simulations or demonstrations of the product that's non-technical to show actual practical application, how you're using it without having to be concerned about the underlying technology. It's like, this is how you're going to use it in your environment. If you wanted to do X, here's the process. And I think that could be helpful, particularly for people that are maybe that are new and were concerned about being somewhat over their head in terms of the technology. Our presenters are very good at making sure people understand the technology and not getting into areas that will be difficult to remember later.
Yeah, I see a couple of hands are raised too, so I'm going to unmute them so they can ask their questions. So the first one is Joe Brown, and Joe, I'm going to unmute you now. So, okay, Joe, you should be unmuted. Go ahead and ask.
All right, yeah, I was beginning to think my hand just wasn't tall enough or something. Yeah, Alan, I just sent another question there trying to find out. So it's not VB anymore. The job defs will be done in the UnForm scripting then?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you have, I guess, some sample stuff that we can look at to help us get there.
Boatloads of samples.
Good deal.
Yeah,
all right, and yeah, and that was my question about the OCR zones. So I know there was a third-party software in that Miguel had been using or something. So now that's incorporated. Is that correct? Or?
Well, no, you would still use. I think you're talking about Abby.
Yeah, something. There was a couple of them that he had mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. There are several products on the market that do better OCR than an open source product or the old Microsoft MADI product, and the exact same capabilities for extracting those text layers exists in the new image manager.
Okay. It just looked like you had some really tight zones in that there. And I know there's a lot of the documents that I've tried to work with OCR-wise just would not work because they're so tight.
Yeah. Well, one of the features of the new image manager is inline scripting and script libraries and filters. So being able to sort of wrestle the data out of those weird tight places is a lot easier because you can be looking for patterns with full scripting logic.
Okay. Yeah, I just trying to get that for an older customer, get them lined up using the OCR stuff because they have a lot of it coming in, but all of their forms were just so tight that I just couldn't map a zone. And then they're like, well, it was demoed that way. And so after I talked to Miguel and saw his samples, and he had already had them run through that third-party product and had all those zones identified. Like, seemed that it makes it a lot easier when they're all laid out there for you.
Oh, yeah, yep.
All right. So, and I take it that from what I saw in your diagram there is that those anything that's scanned and comes in and it can go to DocFlow, and then I can actually take the data from DocFlow and send it to the ERP.
Sure. Yeah. Or
now is that by
or
XML?
Capture it at image manager time and send it on.
Yeah. Either way.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all they're available. And it's in the server, in the libraries. So it's any of the techniques that you would normally use to go pull data out of those libraries are applicable.
Okay. Man, that opens a lot of doors.
Yeah.
And then how are you doing the SIG captures?
That is through HTML5. The DocFlow component is actually a bundle of two technologies, and one of them is a fully offline capable and responsive browser-based viewer that has its own local database and so forth, does synchronization with the server. and of course can capture data from the user, not just like capturing a signature or a drawing on an image, but also capturing data, capturing pictures. So you can build complete proof of delivery applications with it.
Okay. Yeah, the signature thing is something that we've been looking at for quite a while, and that really interests us.
Yeah, that was one of our most often requested features. So when we sort of saw, it was one of those, middle of the night light bulb goes on, we realized that a signature capture process is really a specialized doc flow. And so the only thing we needed to do was figure out how to build a responsive offline application. I say that as the only thing we had to do. It was a little bit of work, but
well, could it be used outside of DocFlow or?
No. It's the way it works with the UnForm server is via DocFlow, but it is offline, so you can take it with you. It synchronizes documents to the phone or tablet or whatever, and you can then go into airplane mode and work with it.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll get a chance to pick your brain a little more at the conference.
Yeah, those half-hour breaks are designed for that.
Okay.
Looks like we got a hand raised by Paul Browning.
Okay, I've unmuted you, Paul. You can go ahead. So, Paul Browning, if you're out there, please ask your question. And in the meantime, it looks like a couple of other questions came in, so if you want to address those. Okay. I'm going to leave Paul unmuted while you guys are talking through the other ones. So Paul, join in as soon as you see a break.
So let's see, yes. Are there sample job defs that can use to migrate the V8 to UnForm scripting?
I think that was related to Joe's earlier question. Yeah.
Right. So, is DocFlow used with workflow, or is it more applicable towards where the document should go? It's very, DocFlow and workflow are very similar. I mean, we're doing workflow with the documents that drive the process. So it's kind of the same thing. You can use it to trigger different events. So DocFlow and workflow are very, very similar.
And there is one of the questions there is about emails, and hopefully this is the right answer, but there is a notification capability built into, it's actually built into all of UnForm 10. It's through a programmable object, but we use that in DocFlow to notify people or groups about documents that have moved into a step that they should be dealing with that document.
Here's a good one. Can UF9 Image Manager run side by side with UF10 while UF9 job scripts are redone for UF10?
Yes, we are bringing the old Image Manager up to version 10. We knew that people would have jobs that they had built and had been running for a long time. We of course don't plan on any new enhancements to that product, but we are bringing it forward to make sure that you can continue to use it. Okay, did Paul ever?
Paul, are you there? Yeah.
He's still unmuted, but he's not responding. So I'll go ahead and I'll mute him again. So,
okay.
Paul, if you want to ask a question, just raise your hand again. Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions coming in. You have any final wrap up there, Paul? Anything you want to close out with?
Well, just I think you know, the conference, it's, you know, reasonably priced. I think the investment is well worth you know, doing it. It will not only, you know, are you going to learn how to do a lot of stuff, I think it'll give you a lot of good ideas of things you can do when you get back to work, again, to make, you know, your life and everybody else's life easier. So, you know, we really encourage you to get there. It's going to be a great event.
Okay. All right, John, Alan, any final thoughts?
Well, we hope to see you in Vegas.
Yeah.
We hope to
always
see
a
you
good
in
fun.
Vegas. Yeah, it will be good. People have been to our conference in the past know that our conferences are liked by all, and we do get good recommendations from previous attendees. That was very valuable in terms of understanding. And one of the things, some people may think, well, you're really focusing on document management, and we are, but that's where everybody is driving our business. More and more people want to move into a digital society where things are just more automated to the point that there's not a lot of manual processes that take up valuable time, that you can work more efficiently, service customers better, and our goal is to provide the tools for you to be able to do that.
Hey, we got two other quick questions here, just real quick. Should we bring our laptops? Yes. The last one, is it possible to use UnForm with a SQL database? So I
Yes.
guess, yeah.
Yes, the answer is yes. Yeah, we have customers doing that now. That isn't a new thing to UnForm 10.
All right. Gary, I think that is it.
All right. Well, thank you, Paul, Alan, and John. This was a great presentation. Thank you all for attending the webinar today. Have a great day, and we do hope to see you in Vegas. Take care now.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.